ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We'll read the Dhyana shlokas which we have covered. I will chant, you can repeat. ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता Some people are chanting Bhagavatam. It is not. It is Bhagavata. Okay? Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Ambatvāmanusandadhāmi Bhagavad Gīte Bhavadveshinīm Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullaravindayata Patra Netra Yena tvaya bharata taila purnaha Prajvalito jnanamaya pradipaha Prapanna parijataya Totra vetraikapanaya Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gītāmritaduhe namaha Sarvopanishado gavaha Dogdha gopalanandanaha Partho vatsasudhir bhokta Dugdham Gītāmritam mahat Vasudevasutam devam Kamsa Chanūramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadronatata Jayadratha Jala Gandhara Nilotpala Shalyagrahavati Krupena Vahani Karnena Velakula Ashvathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhanavartini सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशल्यवचः सरोजममलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि नः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालम् पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिम् यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्. So still we are seeing Dhyana Shloka only. How many? 3 classes are over. This is 4th class, no? Alright. So we don't have to finish syllabus. When you are studying Shastra, approach should not be just to finish the text. The text is a pretext for conveying the vision. The teacher uses the text as a pretext, means as a means for revealing the vision. Therefore, when you are studying Shastra, as a student, you need not bother about it. When will it be finished? When will it be finished? Teacher will complete. He has got experience. So when I conducted the course, some students must be feeling that when Swamiji will complete, we are still in the 4th chapter, 5th chapter, and this much time only remaining. But completed with 1 hour to go. Means some time still we had, one day or something, extra something we did. So let us have the approach of learning, approach of receiving the vision, not finishing the text. Because I have seen many people have anxiety. I have not finished this, I have not finished this text, I have not finished this. The number of text is not a decisive factor for receiving wisdom. So you should not think that after I have studied 9 Upanishads or 10 Upanishads or 12 Upanishads, then wisdom will come. Wisdom can come by 1 Upanishad also. And wisdom may not come by 12 Upanishads also. Both ways it is there. Just by the way, but this is useful, and some of you are regular students of Vedanta, therefore I thought I will share this idea. In Dhyana Shlokas, we have done Namaskara to Bhagavad Gita, we have done Namaskara to Vedavyasa, who has compiled this Bhagavad Gita, we have done Namaskara to Lord Krishna, who is the teacher, and we have prayed to even Mahabharata Grantha. In the last shloka, Naha Shreyase Bharata Pankajam. May Mahabharata, comparable to a lotus, be Naha Shreyase, be the means for Shreyas, well-being. To begin with, temporary well-being, and later on the ultimate well-being called moksha. Naha, for us. And when you are chanting this shloka, you need to be extra careful. Because if you chant like this, Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamsi Nashreyase. If you chant like this, it will have the meaning that may Mahabharata not become the means for moksha. Means you are telling Mahabharata, don't bring moksha for me, don't bring moksha, I don't want. It will give that type of message. In Sanskrit, na, only plain na means not. Naha means for us. So what is meant here is Bharata Pankajam Naha Shreyase Bhuyat. May the lotus like Mahabharata become the means for moksha for us. That is the message intended. But if you chant wrongly, then what will be the meaning? Na Shreyase means let Mahabharata not become the means for moksha. So much difference will be there. Therefore we pronounce properly. Na Shreyase. Na Shreyase. Not Na Shreyase. Some people are lousy. So Na Shreyase. Not Na Shreyase. Na Shreyase. Just by the way. Those who are particular about it. Otherwise Bhagwan will understand. Bhagwan will correct and understand. Okay. He said what to do. My child is like this. But he means this. Okay. So correct. Don't worry about it. Because you say, Swamiji, I was chanting like that only. Na Shreyase only. Don't worry. Those who want to have some precision, for them I am telling. Otherwise you can chant whatever you chant, Bhagwan will understand. Alright. Next one is Paramananda Madhavam Vande. Vande means I salute. To whom? Madhavam. Madhava, one meaning of Madhava is Krishna. Because he was born in the family of Madhu. One great king was there, Yadava king, whose name was Madhu. So Madhoho Gotrapatyam Madhava. Or Madhava can mean Vishnu also. Ma means Lakshmi. And Mayaha, Lakshmyaha, Dhavaha, Patihi, Madhava. The Lord of Lakshmi is Madhava. And Madhava means Vishnu, and Sri Krishna is the avatara of Vishnu, therefore he also can be called Madhava. And this Madhava is Paramananda, is of the nature of limitless happiness, and therefore is called Paramananda Madhava. And what is he? Yat Krupa, whose grace can do wonders. What is that? Mukam karoti vachalam. The grace of the Lord makes the dumb, the person was mute, vachalam, eloquent. Means a person who was not able to speak starts speaking by the grace of the Lord. We have heard such cases that somebody was not speaking for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years after birth, and something they went to Devi temple and started talking, speaking. And somebody was telling me this. The grace can make it. Mukam karoti vachalam. Another meaning also we had seen, which is also relevant to us. Vachalam mukam karoti. One who is talking too much, Bhagavan will give him maturity not to talk too much. So vachalam api mukam karoti. So talking unnecessarily, that person by the grace of the Lord becomes silent. Sadashiva Brahmendra was having lot of dialogues and debate with scholars, and then by the grace he became silent. So something happened and that he became silent. He was not talking to anyone afterwards. So vachalam mukam api karoti yat krupa, whose grace make the dumb person eloquent and talkative, silent. That Lord I salute. And Pangum Langhayate Girim, by whose grace Pangu, a person who is crippled, whose legs are not functioning, they are called Pangu, whose legs are cut, etc., or not having, that person is Pangu. And Pangum Girim Langhayate, this person cannot even walk, but by the grace of the Lord, that person will be able to climb even the mountain. To that Lord, by whose grace all these miracles happen, I offer salutation. So I offer salutation to the Lord whose grace makes wonders. And in the last class, we were seeing What do we mean by grace? Ishvara's grace. We in India we say this very often. By God's grace, by your grace, by Guru's grace, etc. So grace is not something which is distributed by the Lord fancifully, whimsically. That Bhagavan said, oh, this fellow I like. Okay, send some 10 grams grace or 100 grams grace. This fellow, he doesn't put chandanam also, so no grace. So, so something like that. It is not so. So generally we think that when Bhagavan is very happy with us, he will shower the grace. So what we have to do? Somehow we have to make Bhagavan pleased. How do we do? We flatter Bhagavan. So we praise Bhagavan. And therefore Bhagavan will be pleased. Like my uncle I praise when I want some pocket money, little extra pocket money. Then I go to my uncle, Amma, uncle, you are so wonderful, we are so generous, we are so considerate, you are very handsome. All this, whatever I want to put, I can put. And so that, and afterwards says, uncle also will understand, So uncle will say, what do you want? Hey, I just wanted to go for a movie, so you give me 100 rupees. So that is what we have done with our uncle or auntie or whatever. So we think that Bhagavan also is to be manipulated like this. That is not so. See, one thing is that you never try to manipulate with Bhagavan. Why? Because whatever intellect you have is given by him. So his intellect, with his intellect, you cannot manipulate with him. Never try to have this thought, I will manipulate with Bhagavan. Not possible. Then what is grace? Grace is the result of the karmas done by me. And we saw in the last class that grace can be earned by prayers and reaching out activities. Prayers means what? Prayer can be, generally we think prayer means, oh God, give me this, that is prayer. That is not Vedic culture, that is not called prayer. That is not the complete definition of prayer. That also can be called prayer, but prayer means some puja, some parayanam, some upasanam, that is called prayer. And that prayer is an action and it will bring the favorable result. So by prayers you are creating punyam and that punyam brings favorable result. Or you do some reaching out activities. Share your resources, time resources, money resources, knowledge resources, whatever resource you have, share with others. And that also will earn you punyam and which will bring favorable result. Now, when we hear this explanation of grace, then it looks very bland. Because we thought Bhagavan, is so pleased with me, and that type of romantic feeling we have, some fantasies we have, that is what is called destroyed by this type of rational thinking. So people will say, argument last point was that if my action alone is bringing favorable result, then why do you call Ishvara's grace? My action, I work for somebody for 1 month and he gave me salary. Will he say, by your grace I got salary? No, I work for it. I work for it, and how can I say, by the grace of my employer I got the salary? No, you work for it. So you never think, in fact you always think that the employer is giving much less than I have worked. That's what the thinking of people. So grace idea we don't get. So how do you say that it is Ishvara's grace? That was the question we had raised. Let us understand. This prayer or reaching out activity is creating punyam, and this punyam brings favorable result. That is a fact. Still we call it as a grace because we do not know which action is bringing which favorable result. Because sometimes you get something without your praying for it. Many times it happens. We did not pray for something and it happened. Somebody gave. Today you might not have prayed, oh Bhagavan, let there be bhiksha of sweet, pakoda and all this. But it comes. Generally, I hope you will not think like that, oh Bhagavan, when you go to Dakshinamurti temple, oh, for lunch today there should be this. You don't pray like this, I hope so. But still you get it. So, which prayer, which good action done by me has brought this favorable result, we are not able to connect. And therefore, we are calling it as a grace. And one more reason is there. I do the action of prayer. Prayer, remember, is an action. Prayer is an action, and action brings the result as per the law of karma, presided over by the Lord. Therefore, the result of my prayerful action is coming from Ishvara. Even though I did action, but action brings the result is because of the laws of Ishvara. We can say because of Ishvara. So every result of my prayer is coming from the Lord. And what comes from the Lord, we call it prasada, grace. Therefore, grace is a gracious word or gracious expression for the punyam I have earned. And we emphasize this idea of grace even though factually it is the punya earned by me, because if I look upon favorable result as the result of this grace, what favorable situation I got because of grace, in this manner when I look upon, I will have humility. Otherwise you will have arrogance. I prayed, I did puja, I got it. I did this, I got it. So you will have arrogance. And arrogance is a great cause for the fall of a person. Arrogance brings fall. And therefore, instead of highlighting the aspect of my karma, we highlight the aspect of this result coming from Ishvara. And what comes from Ishvara is prasada, is grace. And therefore, we call it grace, yat krupa. So, grace is a gracious expression for my punya. And when you offer a prayer, it has got two benefits. One benefit is that psychologically your sense of helplessness goes away. You are in trouble, you have some difficulty, financial difficulty, family difficulty, or social difficulty, some study-wise difficulty, and you are feeling helpless. And in that situation, when you offer a prayer, you are doing something. You know what is the helplessness? Helplessness means I am feeling the problem, but I am not able to do anything about the problem. That is helplessness. You have got hunger and you go to dining hall and eat. Do you feel hunger as a helplessness? You don't feel. Why? Problem is there, hunger is a problem only. Every now and then you get hunger, problem. But solution is there. When problem is there and solution is there, problem does not cause helplessness. When is there helplessness? When I find myself with problems and I am not able to do anything about the problem. That feeling is causing, or that feeling is helplessness. Problem is there, solution is not there. So, when you have such situation, you offer prayers. So, what happens? You are doing something. So, problem is there, and now you are doing an action of prayer that brings down your sense of helplessness. And moreover, when you are praying, you have some shraddha, because then only you will pray. Some shraddha in the existence of Ishvara, and therefore what you are feeling, this prayer is connecting you with Ishvara. And you know, when you are connected with some powerful fellow, local fellow powerful, then also you feel, if I have any problem, that person is there. You feel strong. Connection with the strong makes you feel strong. And now you are feeling connected to the strongest Lord through prayer, and therefore what? You will psychologically feel strength. If prayer is done properly, it will give you psychological strength. It will reduce your sense of helplessness. And therefore, this prayer has got first benefit in the form of psychological relief, psychological strength. Mentally you feel strong. You feel that yes, I have prayed to Bhagavan. So Bhagavan will help me. See, sometimes you write to some minister or somebody, you please help me. You feel that I have done my duty and he will do it. It may take months, years, but I have told him. Gives relief. So this is the first benefit. Drashta phalam. Drashta phalam is discernible result. You yourself feel after prayers, you feel lighted. You feel light because of your Shraddha in Ishvara. And second benefit, as I said, prayer brings adrishta phalam, invisible result, which is otherwise called punyam. You must have heard this word punya and papa. What is the meaning of punya and papa? See, these are basic things you will be using very often. But if somebody asks you, what is punyam, please tell me, what is punyam? The definition of punyam is Shastra Vihita Karma Janya Adrishta Phalam. Anyway, don't bother about Sanskrit. Invisible result of the karma action which is prescribed by the Shastra, suggested by Shastra. Invisible result of the action suggested by Shastra. That is called punyam. Shastra says you help people and you do it. It will give you punyam. But punyam, Swamiji, I am not seeing it. In fact, the very definition of punyam is adrishta phalam. It is invisible. Invisible cannot be seen. If it is seen, it cannot be called invisible. So people say, Swamiji, where is punya? Where is papa? In fact, I will ask, where is the subatomic particle? It is not seen. It is inferred. For that subatomic particle, the pramanam is inference. Similarly, for invisible punya papa, pramanam is shastra. So don't ask, Swamiji, who has seen punyam? Who has seen papa? Everything you have not seen. In fact, if you are too obsessive about seeing, I will ask you, have you seen the sound? Have you seen sound? Sound? Have you seen sound? Sound is there or not? I hope it is there. I am making sound only. So, don't have obsession of seeing. No, but Swami, at least perceived. Many things are not perceived, but they are there. This electron is not perceived, even by electronic microscope. It is there. So, everything need not be seen. So, punyam means the result, invisible result of the karma prescribed by the Shastra. What is papam? Papam means Shastra Pratisiddha Karma Janya Adrishta Phalam. Invisible result of the action prohibited by the scripture. What is papam? It is invisible result of any action which Shastra is prohibiting. Shastra says Suram na pibe. Alcohol should not be drunk. Oh, Swamiji, you should have told me before. So, anyway, so Shastra says no. And if somebody drinks, then it is papa. But Swamiji, in our cup syrup also is coming. Cup syrup alcohol is there or not? So, for this, you don't want to drink alcohol. Alcohol happens to be there, you can't help it. That also, I try to avoid. So I ask this person, is there alcohol? Nowadays some honey based cup syrups also coming up. Anyway, still they may be there, doctor might be simply saying, then we can have. But from your side, you try to avoid. Some people will say, Swamiji, the medical science says that the one peg every day is good for heart. Doctor, they say that. But for heart, we have got so many other things also. Arjuna Vriksha bark, you have, it is good for heart. So why do you have alcohol? You have Arjuna Vriksha, that the bark of the Arjuna tree. Have you heard about Arjuna Vriksha is there, the tree, and this bark is very good. So instead of alcohol, you have that tree. No, but it doesn't taste good. So you are taking alcohol for taste, not for your heart. Anyway, so what is papam? Shastra Pratisiddha Karma Janya Adrishta Phalam. Invisible result of action prohibited by the scripture. Shastra says, don't hurt anyone. If you hurt, it will cause papa. Alright. So punya and papa are invisible result. And prayer is the karma suggested by Shastra. Therefore, when you do prayer in the form of puja, in the form of parayanam, in the form of the meditation on Bhagavan, it will get you punyam. And that punyam will give you favorable result. And as I said, since you do not know the mechanism of it and it is coming from the Lord, you call it grace. So we need to have the clarity about what grace is. Otherwise, what will happen? You will have conflict about the grace itself. What? Swamiji, last time I prayed very little, then Bhagavan showered his grace. This time I prayed so much, but I did not get grace. I think Bhagavan is not happy with me. People have this feeling that Bhagavan is angry with me, etc. One thing you can be very sure, Bhagavan doesn't get angry with you. It is your mental projection. Like sometimes in relationship it happens. We think my spouse is not happy with me. Spouse is lost in his own world. You think like that. You think my parents are not happy. May not be so. My own guilt conscious makes me project that he is not happy, she is not happy. And it can be there with human beings. But one thing you can be very sure, Bhagavan does not have any ragadveshas. So never have this thought that Bhagavan is angry with me. Bhagavan is never angry with you. Bhagavan is this embodiment of grace only. So never entertain this idea that Bhagavan is angry with me. So by saying this, you are bringing down Bhagavan's status. You have likes and dislikes. So similarly, you are projecting likes and dislikes on Bhagavan also. It is not so. So Bhagavan is not angry with you. You did not have the enough force of punyam to neutralize the obstacle in what you wanted. I will explain this point. One question related to this grace is, Swamiji, how come? Sometimes I pray, it works. Sometimes I pray so much, it doesn't work. Or worse problem is, Swamiji, when my brother prays, it works. When I pray, it doesn't work. Or my friend prays, it works. I pray, it doesn't work. Really, it is not so. So how come? Sometimes my prayers work and sometimes my prayers don't work. This clarity we need to have, because you might have heard some cases that one person was great devotee of Murugan and one lady, and she prayed to Murugan to get her daughter married. My daughter should be married, my daughter should be married. So much prayed, and she did not get married for so many years. Like she must have given an ultimatum to Murugan that in 1 year she should be married. Did not happen. She got so angry that Murugan's picture she threw into dustbin. So angry. Why this happens? Because of not having the clarity of this point. Let us be clear that why some prayers work, some prayers don't work. My own life it happens that some prayers I made, it worked. I prayed to Bhagavan that let this problem be solved. When I came out of the temple and problem was solved, somebody came and brought the solution. And for something I prayed for 1 month regularly, didn't work. Why? Why, Swamiji? Is it Swamiji Bhagavan has got selective dementia that sometimes he listens, sometimes he doesn't listen. Hearing aid he has put, then he will listen. Hearing aid he has not put, he will not listen. Is it so? Not so. Let us understand why it happens. When I have some desire to attain something and my regular efforts are not getting me that result, then I offer a prayer. And why am I not getting that desired result? Because there is some obstacle. And that obstacle, if it is light obstacle, manda, then my prayer will create the force of punya and it will neutralize. And what will happen? I will get the desired result. So prayer is creating force of punya which will remove the obstacle to my desired result and I will get the desired result. And therefore I say my prayer worked. Next time, when you prayed for some desired result, that time the obstacle was very big. And your force of punyam, you prayed, but still compared to the magnitude of the obstacle, the force created by prayer was small. Therefore what happened? You did not get the desired result. Even though some effect must have happened, that because of your prayer you got the strength to handle the failure, so-called failure, but it definitely happened. It did bless you, but did not bless you enough to feel the success in your prayer. And therefore, remember, your prayer never fails. Just because you did not get the desired result doesn't mean prayer did not do anything. Prayer did something, but it was did not create the enough force of punyam to neutralize the obstacle in my desired result. And therefore, you did not get the desired result. But never say that I prayed and it did not work, therefore next time I will not pray. If you do like this, who is the loser? I am the loser. I generally give this example. This is my favorite example. This pencil is here. And to move this pencil, what I have to do? I have to use the force of pushing. I pushed, so it moved. So when you push something, it moves. This is a law. And so I pushed this, it moved. I pushed this clip, also it moved. And for this book to push, I pushed. It did not move so much. Little bit moved. I did not see any visible movement. So when I did not get this movement of this book by the same push which I applied on this pencil and the clip, does it mean the law is wrong? That pushing makes the thing move, that law is not violated. Only thing, my push was not enough. If I push this table like this, same thing, 5 times, 10 times, 100 times, it will not move. Why? Because my push is not enough. And therefore, remember, the law of prayer, that when you pray, it gives you result, that law is never violated. Only thing, sometimes the magnitude of the obstacle is very big and therefore you feel that your prayer has not worked. But remember, prayer works not every time bringing me the desired result. Sometimes it just prayer helps me to get the strength to handle the situation. In fact, that also is the result of prayer. You prayed, and even though Bhagavan could not give that because your prayer was not enough, but that prayer will be fructified in the form of certain help to handle that situation. I get big disease, suppose, and I prayed, but this disease did not go. But because of my prayers, Bhagavan will send some people to attend to me. Bhagavan will give me the money, the amount to buy the medicine. to remove or reduce my pain. That also is the result of my prayer. I tell people that when disease comes, you see that Bhagavan is angry, but Bhagavan is giving you money and people to help you in your disease, that you are not seeing Bhagavan's grace. And therefore, let us have enough clarity about the prayers and grace so that we don't get angry with Bhagavan. Sometimes we think Bhagavan is angry with me and sometimes we get angry with Bhagavan. People say that, Swamiji, I am very angry with Bhagavan. I was very devoted, Swamiji, but I prayed and it did not happen, therefore I become atheist. That's a wrong thing. It happens because of not having this clarity. If this clarity is there, even this time your prayer doesn't seem to work, still your Shraddha in prayer, your Shraddha in the efficacy of prayer will not go away. So this is, we need to know about grace. Anyway, so Yat Krupa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. So here the Lord is saluted, appreciating His grace, His law of karma, which helps us to get a wonderful result in our life. In fact, the people who are having the mind of gratitude, they will always see the grace only. I am able to get up itself is a grace. I am able to talk now is a grace. You are able to listen to His grace. You are able to understand His grace. It's not an ordinary thing. I always wonder that how come what I am thinking people are able to understand. I always wonder, it happens, people understand. How it is happening? I speak words, words are gross compared to the understanding. How the gross words are carrying the subtle understanding and transferred into the other's mind. It happens. Sometimes we get a doubt whether understanding has gone or not. Therefore I repeat also. Not required sometimes. But I repeat because I have a feeling that how this understanding is going. It goes. It's a miracle. And therefore, if we have the vision, if we have got the attitude of gratitude, then you will have hundreds of reasons to appreciate Bhagavan's grace. And if you have got ungrateful mind, however much you receive in life, you will have reasons to complain. Which is Swami used to call them Munu Munu people. You know Munu Munu? Munu Munu is there. Whatever was doing, something. They always find one reason to complain. Today at this lunch, so many items. That he said, but this chutney was not there. Salt was little less. Hey, salt is there. You please put. Always something to complain. So see your mind. Whether your mind goes to see what is or your mind goes to see what is not. That will decide whether you will be remaining a happy person or unhappy person. Both you should see, but where mind goes more, where my mind goes first. It is not that we deny the problem. We see the glass is half filled and half empty, both we see. But with half glass filled, I am okay and I am thankful to Bhagavan for giving me half glass filled. It is not that you see only half glass filled. Positive thinking we are not encouraging. We are saying you have objective thinking. Objective thinking with the appreciation of grace of Ishvara. And that is the right way of, mature way of leading one's life. Alright, now in the next sloka, the prayer is offered to Paramatma, especially appreciating his essential nature, which is Nirguna Brahma. In the next sloka. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः. In this shloka, the main sentence is Devaya Namaha. My salutation to the Lord. Who is Deva? Deva has got the meaning effulgent. My salutation to the Lord who is of effulgent nature. And effulgent means Chaitanya Swarupaha, of the nature of consciousness. So my salutation to Chaitanya Swarupa Brahma. And that Paramatma called Brahma is described by the rest of the words in the shloka. What is that? Yam, my salutation to that Lord, Yam, to whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Marutaha stunvanti. Stunvanti means praise. My salutation to Paramatma, whom even gods, devatas, praise. Stunvanti means praise. Who are those who are praising? Brahma, Brahmaji, Chaturmukha Brahma, Saraswati Pati Brahma, Varuna, the devata who is presiding over water, Indra, the king of devatas, Rudra, there are 11 Rudras, one manifestation of Shiva, Marut means Vayu Devata. So all these devatas are praising this Paramatma, Stunvanti. How do they praise? Divyaihi stavaihi. By this divine. Divine means what? Not worldly, Vedika. Stavaihi, hymns. So devatas praise the Paramatma with or through the divine hymns or celestial hymns. The hymns which are not composed by human beings. Divyai stavaihi, referring to Vedika Sukta. Like Purusha Suktam, Narayana Suktam, they are called Divyaihi stavaihi. And Samagaha. Samagaha means the chanters of Samaveda. There are 3 types of mantras in Vedas. One is called Rig mantra, then Yajur mantra and Sama mantras. Sama mantras are the mantras which are set to music. They are called Sama. Sama gayanti iti Samagaha. Those who are singing Samaveda mantras, they are called Samagaha. Gayanti, they sing. Vedaihi, they sing the glory of the Lord through Vedas. And Vedas are further qualified by the word Sanga Padakramopanishadaihi. Sa means along with Anga. Anga means the auxiliary discipline of knowledge. In Shastra, we talk about 4 Vedas and 6 Vedangas. Anga means auxiliary disciplines. The disciplines of knowledge which will help us to understand Vedas better, they are called Vedanga. And they are 6. What are they? Siksha. Shiksha means phonetics. How to chant mantra properly. So that we don't do sa, sha, so chapati, sapati is okay, but in Sanskrit it is not there. So, this Shivaya Namaha, it should be Shivaya Namaha. It's a Shivaya Namaha you cannot say, unless there is a Sandhi, particular Sandhi. Shivaya you cannot say. Somebody you are telling the same thing. One is Shivaya, other is Shivaya. Sankara, Shankara. Shankara means the Lord Shiva who does good to everybody. Sham karoti iti Shankara. One who does good to all is called Shankara. And if you say Sankara, means hybrid. a hybrid person. One father is Brahmana, this mother is different. That is, and the children of them is called Sankara. So imagine, you are telling, oh Lord, you are Sankara. So, so you are praising or criticizing. So, as far as possible, we should chant properly. Properly. A is different, A is different. So that is, all these are taught in Shiksha, phonetics. Kalpa. Kalpa is the discipline of knowledge dealing with the rituals. How to perform the rituals prescribed in the Shastras, Vedas, that is called Kalpa. So discipline of knowledge dealing with the methods and requirements in the rituals, that is called Kalpa. Vyakaranam, grammar, especially Paniniya Vyakaranam, Ayun, Eong, etc., Ruk, etc., the Vruddhi Radej. So it starts like this, so ends with that Panini. You have been taught about Panini Vyakaranam, no? In your class? Panini? Yeah, so some sutras, yeah. Ayung, that's taught? Okay. Is here written also somewhere. There, no? I think Maheshwar Sutra. So, he starts with that. That's not, you don't think this much is Panini. People think, yeah, some is Maheshwar Sutra. I know Panini. So, that you know also is very good. But that itself, it is just starting point. Alright, so Vyakarana. Then, we have got Nirukta. Nirukta means Vedic etymology. The etymology means derivation of the words used in Vedas, like Rudra, etc. Chanda. Chanda means the meters, the prosody, it is called in English. The discipline of knowledge dealing with the structure of the mantra is called Chanda. And Jyotisham means astronomy and astrology is called Jyotisham. So these 6 are called Angas. So these Samagaha are glorifying the Lord with Vedas using necessary points from this Anga. And they are doing the chanting in a particular way, Pada and Krama. Pada and Krama are the ways of chanting the Vedic mantras. One is called Pada Patha, other is called Krama Patha. So Mula Patha is there, Pada Patha is there, Krama Patha is there. Pada Patha means you break the words Isha, Vasyam, Idam. This is Pada Patha. Mula Patham Isha, Vasyam, Idam, Sarvam. So of course there also is chanted in a particular way. So that is called Mula Patha. Then you break the words Pada Patha. Krama Patha means Isha, Vasyam, Vasyam, Idam, Idam, Sarvam. That will be Krama Patha. And like that there is a Jata Patha, Ghana Patha, etc. If we chant Mula Patha correctly, that is good enough for us. But there are so many evolved ways of chanting. That is referred to here Krama and Pada. And Upanishad, the Veda Rahasyam it is called. So they chant, they glorify the Lord with the help of Vedas, which includes the teaching of Upanishad. In simple words, the chanters of, the singers of Sama Vedas glorify the Lord with the help of Vedic mantras involving all necessary accessories. That is the meaning of Samagaha. And third, Yoginaha Yam Pashyanti. Yogis means wise people, meditators. Pashyanti, they appreciate. Yam, to that Lord, whom they appreciate, means the Lord they appreciate. But here seeing, Pashyanti literally means seeing. But here seeing is not through the eyes. Therefore he says Manasa. Manasa Pashyanti. So the Yoginaha, contemplators or the wise people, they appreciate the Lord through the mind. It's a Manodarshanam, natu Chakshur Darshanam. And what type of mind is required to see Bhagavan, Sri Paramatma, Deva? Dhyana Avasthita Tadgata. In this word, 2 things are suggested. Dhyana Avasthita means meditative mind. Puja Swamiji used to say very nicely. We said, who will contemplate? Contemplative person contemplates. So you need to be contemplative to contemplate. You cannot say, from now onwards, every day, 3 hours I will contemplate. It doesn't work. You cannot force contemplation on yourself. You first have to develop that contemplative mind to contemplate. And that contemplative mind is suggested by dhyana avasthita. Avasthita means remaining in meditation. The mind which remains in contemplation, meditation, is called dhyana avasthita, contemplative, manasa, mind. So the wise people or contemplators appreciate Paramatma with the help of contemplative mind. So concentration, focusing is suggested by dhyana avasthita. And other one is tadgata. Tadgata means committed to that Paramatma. Unless person has got commitment to owning a Paramatma as oneself, this pursuit will not be successful. And therefore second requirement is tadgata means committed. Dhyana avasthita tadgata. Tadgata means Paramatma gata. Or even dhyana gata, one who is committed to dhyanam, one who has value for dhyana. In life, when you want to attain something, you need to develop sufficient value, the sense of importance, then only it will come. Therefore, tadgatena means committed. So, the wise people or the contemplators appreciate this Paramatma with the help of mind which is contemplative and committed. To such, and also one more description. Yasya antam surasura ganaha na viduhu. Paramatma is that yasya whose antam limit and na viduhu do not know. Who? Surasura ganaha, the group of devatas and asuras, demons. Nobody knows where Paramatma ends. Paramatma's limit, where is it? They don't know. Why they don't know? Because there is no limit. If limit is there, they will know. Antasya abhavadeva na pashyanti na viduhu. They do not, nobody knows the end of Paramatma. And therefore, Paramatma is limitless. That idea is suggested. And to such limitless Paramatma, Namaha, my salutation. Thus, in this shloka, salutation to Paramatma is offered, whose glory is praised by devatas in heaven, whose glory is sung by the singers of Sama on the earth, and whose true nature is appreciated by the wise people through the mind, and whose limit even devatas and asuras do not know. To that limitless Paramatma, Namaha. So with this, the dhyana shlokas are completed. So now we will be entering into the first chapter from the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.